All right. Boom, bang, bang, boom, bang, 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 boom. It is November 11th. That means it's 11/11, 2025. How you doing, boys and girls? Mad Hatter Nation, it is Tuesday, and Week 10 of the NFL is in the books. And boy, did we have a barn burner last night on prime time Monday Night Football. A bout of two NFC heavyweights going at it, and what a slugfest we had. Points galore. The offenses looked amazing, and we just hit every single metric of a modern-day NFL game with a score of 10-7. Wow. Really lighten up the board there, boys. Save some points for the rest of them here. Now, I'm not going to lie. I sat right over here and so talked about how the Eagles were kind of scary, and we had to learn a thing or two before we squared off against them. But I'm not too worried about it when we are dropping 40 burgers, even if it is on a beaten-down commies team in the lowly Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. That's a lot of points there. 10. Get 'em, Tiger. Jeez Louise. So we will talk about the Eagles-Packers Monday Night Football. What we learned from Philadelphia's 10-7 win. Whoa, those primetime games are just getting out of control. Also, guys, yesterday, shout out Hat and Boobs. I think she's out working out right now. She's got the day off because it's Veterans Day. Top priority. We do want to make sure and give a big shout out to all the veterans. And we'll do it sporadically throughout the show. Don't you worry at all. I got a little glazing for the servicemen and women of our country. But Hat and Boobs let me know yesterday, Brian Daboll got fired. Brian Daboll relieved of duties. His duty was relieved. I typically am relieved of my duties, and it's generally a relief when my duties are gone. But Brian Daboll relieved of duties. Mike Kafka to serve as Giants interim head coach. And good on Mike Kafka climbing his way up through the ranks. I remember when he was a Northwestern quarterback. Speaking of, there is a poll up in the chat that directly coincides with that article right there. Oh, wait, never mind. That was another poll that I thought about doing. My bad. I totally got sidetracked. I'm just a big, stupid fucking idiot. So ignore that. We will then turn our attention to the 3-1-3, the Motor City NFL playoff picture. Lions retake the NFC North lead. You've seen the beautifully well-crafted thumbnail with lots of artistic flair, waz, and pizzazz. Make sure you give me a thumbs up on them new thumbnails that I'm making right there. Welcome back to first place, Detroit Lions. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. We are king of the North. And it feels ever so right to be back in our rightful place atop the NFC North. A full look at the NFC playoff picture after Week 10. Jeremy Reisman over at Pride of Detroit, our guy hooking it up there. And then, of course, who else we got? Tim 2020 man. This week he's turned into Tim 40 man because we're reading him twice now. Key questions. What stood out on tape from Lions win over the Commies? Lions head coach Daniel Campbell spoke to the media Monday after his team's impressive 44-22 win on the road in our nation's capital with the boss in attendance. Daniel Campbell put on his best performance. He tucked his shirt and had his glasses on because he wanted to look good for the boss, despite what he said in a post-game interview. I think it's kind of hard to believe that people didn't know Big Don was there. There's a little certain amount of security procedure and protocol that needs to be followed there. Some things that might seem a little bit different, a little bit more security, a little bit more uptight there, with the boss being in town. But Daniel Campbell, coaching a hell of a game, and it looks like by all accounts he's going to continue to call games in the Motor City. But finally, we will wrap up with the story we wrapped up yesterday with a little bit here. Something that it's a me thing. It's a hat and beard thing. Okay, so if it's not your thing, don't worry about it. It is something. I'm high as shit. I'm also high as shit on Tyleek Williams. But I personally, I really like this kid. I have been very impressed with what we've seen out of him, considering the level of play he was expected to come in and rip roaring, ready to rock and roll right at, replacing Aleem, the Dream, the Dancing Bear, McNeil, Big Mac. And I think Tyleek did a pretty well job. He's a rookie, and there's going to be some growing pains, but I do think he played better and is playing better, even though in limited exposure the last couple weeks. Playing higher and better than his draft position. Brad Holmes, again, knocking it out of the park. I like Tyleek Williams, but the question then became, when Big Mac came back, well, we seen Tyreek the Freak and his snap count just plummet right off. 11 snaps against Minnesota. I think he had 8 against the Commies, which you kind of would have maybe thought to see a little bit more once we started to kind of pad out a lead, a little bit more reps. But it is what it is. But Dan Campbell explains why the Lions didn't play Tyreek Williams a lot against the Queens and Commanders. That explains a lot. Mike Payton over at A to Z Sports. You guys know I really like A to Z Sports, and I'm not even like a news article. I never thought I'd be a guy that's like, yeah, man, I really like this sports writer. I really like the content that this news outlet puts out there when it comes to sport, because sports is sports. But I gotta hand it to A to Z Sports. They make it funny, dude. It's good. I like A to Z Sports. I think they need to get a little bit more recognition, a little bit more support, dude. So we like what we do there. We read them pretty regularly, guys. So now that that's out of the way, check out the poll. It is 1 like equals 1 King of the North. I totally forgot that I changed it up simply because I couldn't spell Brian Daboll. Ha! But all right now, we got 100% all hail with 11 votes. That's what we like to see, guys. If you could do me a favor before we dive footballs deep into the show, if you wouldn't mind kindly walking over to that subscribe button, subscribing to the channel if you're new here, ringing that notification bell so you can be notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. here at youtube.com. Broadcasting from Grandma's Studio 1, we also will give you a 6th episode every week during the regular season, at least when the Lions are playing on Sundays. Well, I guess it is technically 6 episodes because we'll double dip on a Monday or a Thursday. But we do give you that digital tailgate where we hang out with you guys, take your chats, chew the fat, place some bets, try and put some mammon in my pocketbook there, boys and girls. It's a little fun thing. And, Mad Hatter Nation, they've been hitting me up. A couple of you reached out, and they're wondering, hey, focus right here, you and me. This is you and me. They're trying to figure out where the hell you are, man. They want you here. They want you here hanging out in Mad Hatter Nation, chatting it up, yucking it up with the rest of us, dude. We want to hear what you got to say. So make sure you turn on that notification bell so you can be notified when we're here for the digital tailgate. It's a little bit more of a less suit and tie, a little bit more of a hangout. So make sure you tune in. Everyone's wondering where the heck you are. Hit that like button on your way down to the share button, which is the number one thing you can do to get this content out. Share this video around with each and every person that you know. Now that that's all the way, guys, let's go ahead and dive into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Shout out Mad Hatter Nation. I got to do this real quick. I'm sorry, Jody. Jody came in the chat, started speaking some German, didn't realize how much of us could actually speak German over here, and all of a sudden our chat sounds a little bit like this. I don't want to get copyrighted, so we'll shut it down as quickly as I can. But all of a sudden the chat took on a little bit of a different tone. Oh, come on, internet. I'm just kidding. Calm down, everybody. Calm down, y'all. I'm just messing with y'all. Calm down. We're not talking a bunch of smack about people who eat hummus now. All right, calm down. I'm just kidding. Oh, unfortunately, I couldn't get that timed up right. I was really hoping to have it hit right when we cut back from the opening. I was really trying to have that come on right as we got back from the opening, but my internet's lagging a little bit or something. I don't know, man. But that's good shit. I'm glad you guys can take a joke. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and hit this oil can because we're a little dragged out here. That's good shit. I like you guys. Man, Mad Hatter Nation, Seriously. I don't just say it. I'd do this because of you guys. Like, if you guys weren't so understanding and, like, open to my fucked up sense of humor, it would not work at all. Yeah, fucking at all, man. At all. But here we go. Eagles Packers on Monday Night Football. What we learned from Philadelphia's 10-7 win. Wow. There's a lot of points there, boys and girls. Save some points for the rest of us. Jesus H. Christ. Eagles defense shines in prime time. For likely many a viewer Monday Night Football, this game wasn't aesthetically pleasing, but it was nonetheless a defensive masterpiece for the Eagles on every level, whether it was a newly acquired Jalen Phillips, who I wanted, Captain Phillips. I wanted Jalen Phillips here in the Motor City so fucking bad. Oh, that's the guy I wanted. I wanted him or Boye Mafe. And Brad Holmes just said, just gonna twiddle my thumbs like I'm a fucking Marconi radio dude. God damn. On every level, whether it was newly acquired Jalen Phillips, linebacker Nakobe Dean, cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, and on and on. Philadelphia's defense rarely gave quarter against the Packers, stifling Green Bay for the majority of a cool night in Lambeau Field before standing tall when it mattered most. It was Phillips and Reed Blankenship who stuffed Josh Jacobs for a 5-yard loss on 4th down, causing a fumble to end the Packers' second-to-last drive. Then the Eagles survived a stunning call to go for it on 4th and 6 from the Packers' 35-yard line, that led to a last-ditch 64-yard Green Bay field goal attempt. A relatively middling defense by the numbers. Vic Fangio's D, 15th in points allowed, 20th in yards given up entering this week, as a collective was the star of the night. Good on Vic Fangio's D being the star of the night. Good on him. Maybe some drums are going to play after that, get you a contract over there. The Packers were held to 261 yards and a season-low 7 points in 9 drives. Phillips, 6 tackles, 2 QB hits, a tackle for a loss, and a fumble recovery. Welcome to Philadelphia, Jalen Phillips. Holy crappers, dude. Was impressive in his Philly debut. Nolan Smith, a sack, 2 QB hits, returned from injured reserve with a vengeance. Jalix, I don't know how to. I don't know how to pronounce Jalix. Is it Jalix? Jalix Hunt had a sack, 2 tackles for a loss. Continues to contribute. There's still plenty for the reigning Super Bowl champions to work on, but Monday's defensive showing bodes very well for the weeks ahead. Number 2 cause for concern in Green Bay. Let us hope so. Let us hope that Green Bay is falling apart. Make no mistake, when the Packers pulled off a massive trade just before the 2025 season kicked off, it was a firm statement of Super Bowl winning intent. 9 games into the season, the Packers have stumbled to 3rd place in the NFC North, face serious concerns about their offense, and have lost 2 straight. Every team has peaks and valleys, but they're magnified when all the world watching in prime time. In their 3 losses this year, the Packers have scored a combined 30 points, with Jordan Love throwing just 2 touchdowns in comparison to 12 in wins or ties. Yeah, throw that tie in there. Green Bay is still without Jaden Reed, was without Matthew Golden on Monday, and played its first game sans Tucker Kraft, who's gone for the remainder of the season. Damn, dude, they have no weapons. All right, yep, well, Green Bay. Is it good knowing you? You better hope that Micah Parsons is going to turn into Travis Hunter and play both fucking ways at this point. Love in the offense has been mercurial. I don't know what that means, but I'm fucking retarded. Mercurial, like it's like, fuck it, I don't know. Most often failing to show up when needed most. 3 nail-biting losses. Love has committed 3 turnovers in 3 losses, as opposed to 2 in the other 6 games. In his defense, he threw plenty of catchable balls that fell to the field on a night in which he mustered 176 yards. Nonetheless, the Packers' losing formula is clear. The defense plays outstanding, and the offense is stagnant. Something needs to change with head coach Matt LaFleur and his offense before concerns turn to panic for a club with Super Bowl aspirations. And oh, how good it feels to see that trade blow up. You're going to suck. Green Bay will not go far. 2 play sequences rescues Eagles offense on a crazy night. Locked in a scoreless stalemate through halftime, the Eagles put the scoreboard to work for the first time with Jake Elliott field goal and carried the 3-0 lead into the 4th. Wow. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Jalen Hurts ignited 2 explosive plays thanks to 2 of his best playmakers. Facing 3rd and 7 from his 23, Hurts dumped off a pass to Saquon Barkley and let the reigning AP Offensive Player of the Year do the rest, bursting for 41 yards in the game's biggest play. On the very next snap, Hurts went deep to Devonta Smith, who skied for a contested 36-yard touchdown. Just like that, the Eagles were up 10-0 in a game which points were an endangered species. It was a sequence that provided the eventual game-winning points. However, it wouldn't be Philadelphia's game without some added dramatics. Looking to salt away a win, the Eagles gained just 4 yards on 3 plays and faced a 4th and 6 from the Packers' 35-yard line. Nick Sirianni shockingly elected to go for it, and Hurts followed with an incompletion to A.J. Brown. It gave the Packers a prime shot at least converting an overtime forcing field goal. Philly's D bowed up again, forcing a miserable 64-yard field goal attempt that ended up in another area code from the uprights. Still, Sirianni's call and the offense's ineptitude will be talking points. Philly's offense, thanks to a sensational defensive performance, did just enough to prevail on Monday. But just enough isn't good enough narrative for a fan base hungry for a Super Bowl repeat, and it's also not very convincing. Doesn't leave a good feeling in your belly when you lay down in bed going, oh, we got the Detroit Lions coming in on Sunday night. Shit! Yeah, boy. Yeah, you got the Lions offense coming in. And finally, oh, shit, damn, there are still 2 more. Green Bay's defense was good enough to win in defeat. When you hold the defending Super Bowl champions to a season-low 10 points and a paltry 294 yards, conventional wisdom suggests you should be celebrating at game's end. Such wasn't the case for the Packers, who gave up just 10 points on 60 Eagles plays. In each of their 3 losses this season, Green Bay has allowed 16 points or less. On Monday, Green Bay had an impressive showing with Quay Walker, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Evan Williams, 6 tackles, 2 TFLs. Edrin Cooper, 6 tackles, and on and on. Cooper punched out of Jalen Hurts' fumble that was recovered by Cassine Nixon for just the 4th takeaway against the Eagles this season. Well, very impressive. Fundamentally sound, at least in keeping the ball in your hands. This was the type of performance the Packers' defense is to hang its helmet on. Unfortunately, it wasn't a winning one. Yes, silver lining. Silver lining, but you still got a big old mark in the L column. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. Warts and all, Eagles on flight path to repeat division title. For a Philadelphia squad that's dealt with its share of drama, getting the passing game going chief atop the list, the win-loss column has rarely been among its concerns. After Monday night, the Eagles are 7-2 and well on their way to becoming the first NFC East repeat champion since the franchise run of titles from 2001 to 2004. Excuse me. Wasn't that during the Donovan McFlab era? The Cowboys are in a distance. Jesus Christ, what the fuck, man? Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. The Cowboys are in a distant second place at 3-5-1. Third place commies have lost 5 in a row, and without quarterback Jaden Daniels. And the last place Giants just fired their head coach after the 4th consecutive defeat. Of course, Sirianni made a baffling call late on Monday night, an evening in which A.J. Brown had just 2 catches for 7 yards on only 3 targets. And Saquon Barkley averaged an ugly 2.7 yards per carry. Nothing's clinched, and there's going to be plenty more histrionics to come. But the Eagles are just where they want to be, first place in the division and the top seed in the NFC. It's going to be a very important game for us and the Eagles this upcoming week, dude. It could have massive playoff implications, guys. Let's take a look over at Mad Hatter Nation. How y'all doing this morning, everybody? Holy rippers. Fell way behind. Arf, what's going on, dude? You just missed us being internet trolls, dude, playing around with some German nonsense. Eagles tried to give that game away, but Matt Lufleur just wouldn't be out dumbassed. Brent, I like that. Yeah. What's up, Attila? How you doing, brother? Haven't seen you in a couple days. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Good to see you, dude. My dogs speak American, gotcha. I already got served a free breakfast. Nice, Brent. Heck yeah, guys. Shout out all you veterans, dude. Appreciate each and every one of you for your sacrifice and service. You know, I think it's like 1% of the American population enlists, and we have the world's largest and greatest fighting force that human history has ever seen, and we do it with a volunteer military. That's pretty dang impressive, boys and girls. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. America's really good at war. We are really kind of, you know, we could go down the whole military-industrial complex of nonsense if you really want to, but we are pretty good at kicking ass and taking names, you know what I'm saying? Funny watching two mobile QBs putting up 2 touchdowns total. I was told we needed one in order to score more. Was I lied to? Art, yes, you were. We were all told that we needed a mobile quarterback. Remember when we were going to take Malik Willis with the number 2 overall pick? You guys remember that? Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember when motherfuckers wanted us to take Malik Willis over Aiden Hutchinson? Oh, man. That would have been such an old Lions thing to do. Oh, man. Lions are in first, Mike. You're damn straight they are. And it feels good to sit atop the NFC North. How you doing this morning, Mike? Good to see you, brother. Watching Jordan Love run backwards for 14 yards and get sacked. All I heard last week was, why does Goff just go down when he's sacked? Well, there you go. Art, exactly, dude. Why make a bad situation worse? Just get your ass down. Instead of a 14-yard loss, it's only a 6-yard loss. You can overcome that. Well, sometimes, but you know what I'm saying. Every day is Veterans Day, not just one day a year, but a bunch of shell people randomly remember our heroes. Ain't that the damn truth, Mr. Detroit City? Ain't that the damn truth, dude? Where is Brandy? Yeah, Attila, hey, where is Brandy? That's a good question. I just noticed that. Where the hell's a Brandy coffee at? Oh, man. Not going to lie. Sometimes when a lot of you, like regular viewers, aren't in the chat, I do worry. A little part of me is like, hope everything's okay. You know, not that I'm like, you need to be here, and if you're not going to be here, I need a note from your doctor or a permission slip signed by your mother, and we'll send your homework home with you. But, you know, I mean, I do care. I mean, you know. And we're getting a lot of lag with the stream. Jody, I think that might be on my end. I had a lot of issues this morning with my internet just kind of being a little bogged down. That could be on my end, Jody. Remember the outage about not taking Tua in the draft? The outrage? Yeah, dude, Art. Bro, I remember when people told us that we were dumb for not taking Tua Tagovailoa. And, like, I like Tua as, like, a person, but I don't know, man. I'm just not wild about left-handed quarterbacks. They're backwards. Brent DeWitt says cheeseheads are crying about LaFleur to be fired along with others. Well, good, dude. Good. Who was it? Oh, shit. I seen one. Jay Dampierre. That's right, dude. You're, weren't you, yeah, there we go. Good morning from Green Bay. Coworkers are pretty quiet today, although I'm pretty loud, and you should be, dude. And you should be. Jay Dampierre. I thought I seen a chat up there, dude. I thought I seen one up there. And then we're getting a lot of lag. It works for you, Jack? All right, cool, man. Jody, so I think it might be a little bit of you. It might be a little bit of me. I know that Hat and Boobs, we just upped our internet. We got an upgraded package that came with a different router, and I've got my router up here to get a little bit of better service. So I don't know, man. I have no idea. 2 tiers in the NFC. L.A., Rams, Philly, Detroit, and Tier 2, Seattle, Green Bay. Detroit plays 2 of those 3 teams before the playoffs. We do have a tight, tough schedule, dude. Honestly, man, I'm going to be real, dude. I think Green Bay is about to have a huge fall off. I really do. I think Green Bay is going to have a huge fall off. I don't think they have the offensive weapons to compete, right? With Golden not being able to ever play, Jalen Reed always down, Tucker Kraft gone for the whole season. What's up, Derek? Good to see you, brother. Good morning to you, dude. I'm here when I'm not chatting, just doing inspections. No worries, Mr. Detroit City. I know you guys are here, dude. I know you're here, but you know what I'm saying. Like Brandy's a very active person in the chat, so like. Yeah, I notice when she ain't here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Our Attila definitely noticed too, so I appreciate that. But honestly, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know if Green Bay, like right now, Green Bay could still be in that second tier, but I just don't think they got the dogs on offense to compete, dude. You know, we might be seeing the end of Matt LaFleur. You know, that Mike Parsons deal was to push them to the Super Bowl. That was a Super Bowl. That was, we want to win. We want to win now. We're going to trade away a lot of draft assets. We're going to invest in this player. We want to win now. And the wheels seem to be falling off. And if you have such a big fall off with such high aspirations, I don't know. How much leeway, how much ground does Matt LaFleur have to justify a bad collapse like this, if it were to happen? Third day of this pre-drywall inspections in Odessa. 7,000 square feet. Good Lord, man. Kings of the North, Derek. Heck yeah, dude. Try refreshing the stream, Jody. They're okay, right on. YouTube lags for me all the time. I just reboot YouTube and it fixes it. Yeah, Jack, that happens to me a lot too. Actually, a lot of times I have to just put my phone on airplane mode and then take it off real quick. You know what I mean? Put it on and then take it off. If they don't start scoring more points, LaFleur is gone. LaFleur is gone. You know, dude, you're probably right, dude, because isn't he supposed to be an offensive-minded guy? Isn't that like his bag? So just real quickly here, guys, other news, Brian Daboll was fired. I think we all knew that was coming. Brian Daboll was fired. Mike Kafka to serve as Giants interim head coach. I think that's probably the right move as far as the interim head coach, simply because he already has familiarity with Jackson Dart. Personally, I don't think this is the right move to do midseason. I think the Giants had something going. When Dart's healthy, they got something going, right? Obviously, they're getting crushed by injuries. Scatterbo going down, Malik Neighbors going down, Jackson Dart going down. That's not Brian Daboll's fault, but, I mean, there's just not the guns there. You know what I'm saying? Russ Wilson, it's almost like I never liked Russ Wilson, but it is disgusting to watch him just go out as sad as he's going out. It's just a big old bummer. You know what I mean? I never liked him, but it just sucks. Personally, if it were me, I'd have kept Daboll just to see what we could do the rest of the year. If he won a couple 3 games between now and the end of the year, Jackson Dart's looking kind of good. I think Brian Daboll is the right fit with Jackson Dart. I think this is a little bit premature of a termination and ultimately the worst possible thing you could do for the development of Jackson Dart. I just don't think this is the smart move. But, you know, New York's going to New York, dude. You know, New York's going to New York. And what I really hate is this trend we're seeing now where you've seen it with Giggle Williams and what's his nuts there, the former head coach of the Bears, right? You've seen it now with Brian Daboll and Jackson Dart. This coaches in the last year while they're on the hot seat drafting a first-round quarterback, their guy, and then that quarterback is set up for failure when the coach is ultimately fired and a new system's brought in, and that guy isn't necessarily that guy. Now, on the flip side of that, and as much as I hate to say it, Giggle Williams and Ben Johnson are kind of breaking that narrative. I'm not saying Giggle Williams is playing good. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, he's playing ugly as shit. But the motherfucker gets lucky. And Ben Johnson does know how to call plays pretty goddamn well. I mean, I was just calling it what it is. You know, he was a really good offensive coordinator, and he did know a thing or two. Maybe it was more Dan Campbell doing the majority of the overriding play calls, but Ben Johnson at least did learn a thing or two, and he's succeeding, unfortunately. The Bears are number 2 in the NFC North, right? And that sucks donkey balls. But it is what it is, you know. But traditionally, you don't really see that happening with coaches and first-year quarterbacks that are brought in under an old regime in their second year. Then they got to learn a whole new system, a whole new terminology, all this new bullshit. It's a learning experience and a hard curve for both of them. So you're really retarding the growth and development of them. I don't really have a problem with Brian Daboll. I think the Giants had pieces in place to start a turnaround. But this, I think, is just going to end up kind of kneecapping him a little bit more, if I'm being honest. And this is going to kneecap him a little bit more. Russ Wilson played himself out of the Hall of Fame. You know, Rick, you're probably not wrong. If Russ Wilson would have gone out at least... If Russ Wilson would have just gone to Denver and then retired, he probably would have still been a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. But the way he's going out so sad... the lone season in Pittsburgh, now just looking like an asshole in New York. It's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. You know, at a certain point, you got to know when to hang it up. Time to bring Daboll to Detroit as a consultant. Learn the way of the coach Dan for next year's OC. Jack, get out of my head, dude. That's what I want, bro. That's what I want. I want Daboll to be a special or a consultant. I thought it was special assistant, but yeah, a consultant. And then, Brian Daboll can be the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions next year if we're not going to promote Hank Fraley. But, Morton's got to go. I think bringing in Daboll might be a big benefit, We do have the Eagles this week, and then we're going to meet the Eagles in the playoffs. So having a coach that has familiarity with the Philadelphia Eagles and what they do might be the right move, Not saying it was a huge benefit, but Green Bay's defense did get a lot better last year when they brought in Robert Saleh as a consultant. You know what I'm saying? I think this might be. I think that's the right. I think that is the right move, Jack. I am very much on board with that. I've been on board with that. I've been kind of hinting at that. Either him or Mike McDaniel, whichever one got fired first, needs to be brought into Detroit as a consultant to help us get us over the hump. The Brian Daboll makes more sense than Mike McDaniel. I'm just a Mike McDaniel fan, but Brian Daboll, familiarity against Philadelphia, they're going to be the top team that we need to knock off to get to the Super Bowl. So why the fuck not? You know what I'm saying? What up, Doe? What up, Motown Mitch? How you doing? Hashtag more kings, bro. Real recognize real, brother. I'm looking back at a king right now, my dude. Good to see you, bro. Dart needs to start sliding or he's going to end up like Tua. Brent, you're not wrong, brother. That's these quarterbacks, these guys, they need to learn how to slide, Not to the extent that Patrick Mahomes does it where he's deking guys out, but, you got to learn how to slide. You got to protect yourself. Hendon Hooker had a bad problem with that. Tua, bad problem with that. Dart, bad problem with that. You guys got to learn how to slide. Daboll needs to go back to Buffalo. He and Josh are better together. Rick, actually, I did see a very small article that McDermott is not going to do that. He is comfortable with Joe Brady. He's not going to be the article said that McDermott has no interest in bringing back Brian Daboll. Something's wrong with Buffalo, and something needs to help Josh Allen, and Brian Daboll was wildly successful with Josh Allen. So if I were to put my Lions fandom bias aside, that is actually the right solution right there. That seems to be the hand in glove and what could fix midseason and get Buffalo back on the right track so that we can meet them in the Super Bowl and beat them 59-0. What's up, Mom? Good morning. Saying thank you for your service, service with your sister. That's right. My aunt served in the Navy. And my cousin, her oldest son, served in the Army. So that's a little thing there. Yep, but hell yeah. I have a shitload of friends that served, And come to find out, I was talking with G at work. Now, G is 4 years younger than me, okay? He's 33, I think. And we were talking. I didn't realize it, but, my age demographic was pretty much the last heavily influenced and enlisted group of people up until recently. You heard about how recruiting had been down, but even someone 4 years younger than me, I at one point, I can't remember exactly the conversation, but I said something about, how everybody enlisted and, and he's just like, no, actually. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, most people that I graduated with didn't join, the majority of people that I know didn't join the service. I was like, are you fucking serious? And he's like, yeah. I was like, dude, not most people that I graduated with, but a large portion of people that I knew from high school enlisted in the service at some point. And it just kind of blew my mind, But then if you look at the numbers, it's actually a thing. I mean, if you really want to get into it, it's been the Marxist communists who have infiltrated the education systems in our country, top down from the collegiate level all the way down to the elementary and into pre-K sections, where they have been able to, over generations, indoctrinate the youth to be very, very anti-American. I mean, to the point where they openly encourage dissent towards the American foundation, capitalism, free markets, that type of stuff, because they're Marxist communists who are just disgusting scourges and leeches upon society who need to go away. They need to just go away. Just go away. Take your 2 + 2 = 5 math, build a rocket ship, and go away. But on top of that, you also then see a dip in recruitment because when there's not a patriotism, a sense of national pride in your country, a sense of wanting to give back to serve your country, you're going to see a drop-off in people willing to do that because it's seen as other, gross, the wrong choice, you know what I'm saying? And it just kind of bummed me out. But we have seen a major uptick in recruiting. I mean, it's pretty hard not to see an uptick in recruiting when your Secretary of War is out there going, we're tired of fat people, we're tired of the gay shit, we're going to get you in shape, and I'm going to fucking go out there and do it with you. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome to see the recruiting numbers already hit their max. They already hit their recruiting numbers mid-year, dude. I mean, part of that could be because of the downturn in the economy, not necessarily the best job market out there right now. So people are finding shelter and safety, an ability to accrue good skill sets in the military while also being provided for and learning good discipline, good foundationary values for yourself moving forward. But like the Air Force was able, didn't necessarily start turning people away, but they were like, dude, we are so maxed out that they started, really just being kind of picky. You know what I'm saying? The Marine Corps was being pretty picky. The Navy was getting to be pretty picky, and the Army is going, stop sending us all of your fucking rejects. God damn it, we're already full. Alrighty. Good morning. What is with the shorts on YouTube? My grandpa was an airborne ranger. Rick C. That's dope, dude. Good morning, ShareBear79. This is getting out of control. What is a disgusting advertisement agency about? May the force be with you. May you have the right to do it. Chad Fletcher. They also convinced all the kids to go to college and become brainwashed libtards. My guy. Yes, 100%. You call this place a market. That's cool. Rick C. Dad was Navy. Uncle was Air Force, both in Korean War. Damn, Brent. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up. That's what's up, dude. I can no longer live my life in a trash bag. I've told you this. Okay. Right on, Share Bear. I don't know what's going on there, but we're just going to keep on with the show. All right. Good morning. How you doing? So, guys, just so you know, here's the standings of the NFC North through weeks 10. The Lions obviously sitting in first place, and with the tiebreaker over the Bears, because we beat the living breaks out of them week 2, we sit comfortably at the top of the NFC North. Let's take a little look at the NFC standings through week 10. The Eagles obviously sitting atop the NFC. The Eagles not far behind them. The Lions and the Buccaneers coming in at 3rd and 4th places, respectively, divisional leads. And the Lions sit at the 3rd seed over Tampa because, again, we beat Tampa a couple weeks ago Monday night, so that gives us the tiebreaker over them. We do have a massive game coming up against Philadelphia. That's why I'm telling you, this game against Philadelphia has insanely high playoff implications for the Detroit Lions. This game, this Philadelphia Eagles game, I'm not taking away from the Seattle Seabags, right? But we've already got the tiebreaker over Tampa. I do think that the Bears and Packers are phonies, okay? The Vikings, Panthers, they're done for. They're not making a playoff push. 49ers could still fuck around and find out. The Rams are good. I'm going to be honest. The Rams are good. The NFC West is fucking loaded. Even their worst team is not bad. I mean, they're not great. Not great, not terrible. But the winner of this game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions, this could be the game to decide the number 1 seed. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying about that. I do like the fact that we're back in control. And, to an extent, we do control our own destiny. You just got to... real easy, guys. Just win out. Just win out. No big thing. Just win out, guys. Just win out. The reasons we can have this conversation. Heck yeah, Rick. Exactly. I'm like the only one talking here. How come? Share Bear, I don't think we quite know what you're talking about. No offense. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I don't think we quite know what you're talking about. I appreciate it, though. I couldn't pass the Navy physical due to a brain injury when I was 16. A motorcycle accident ruined my dreams. Dude, that sucks, bro. That sucks, man. And, there is this mentality that, and it's kind of negative, people kind of view service as a fallback, in case of fire, break glass. Well, everything else didn't work out, so I'm just going to join the military. And people don't really know that there are actually like pretty high standards to get into the military. Like, you can't just be a piece of shit, and you can't be an idiot. But on top of that, there are also very high physical standards. And I don't mean like just the weight and the PT requirements. I mean hearing, vision, skeletal things. There allergies, dude. There are numerous things that disqualify people from military service, and by really no choice of their own. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Rick, I highly doubt that you deliberately got into a motorcycle accident. You know what I'm saying? I didn't deliberately go out and damage my hearing to the point where I'm so fucking deaf that they won't take me. You know what I'm saying? There are just things that are outside of people's control, but the concept of, and you know what, now that I think about it, guys, this ties right into what Mr. Detroit City was saying about how Veterans Day should be every day, not just one day out of the year. Because we view the military as such a fallback, a thing for losers. Okay, let's be honest. There isn't the mentality. We don't really champion people who we do and we don't. We don't day to day view people who served in the military and put them up on a pedestal per se. Except for, 4th of July, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, where we make a big, grandiose spectacle of it. You know what I'm saying? If we were to change that mentality, if we were if the armed services were able to rebrand a little bit to making yourself out to be even more elitist, be all that you can be in the Army. You know what I'm saying? The few, the proud, the Marines. Drive that shit home. You know what I'm saying? Aim high, motherfucker. This idea of just taking any degenerate dirtbag fucking loser needs to be broken, and they need to really emphasize just exactly like the level of person, not only the level of person that you have to be going into the military, but their codes of conducts are like actually pretty strict, man. Like, they do expect you to uphold a certain level of professionalism all the time, which unfortunately I think we see a bit of a decay based on all of the degenerates on TikTok willingly doing terrible things in uniform, saying horrible things in uniform. But I think we need to kind of change the image of what the military is. Not this fallback, not this we'll take anybody, but really, kind of hype them up a little bit, man, I don't know if that makes sense. I know it's off topic, Hat, but I'd like to say happy Veterans Day to all my brothers and sisters out there. From this Army vet to the rest of you, I see you. Much love from Boston. Beantown Breakdown, not off topic at all, bro. Not off topic at all, dude. It is Veterans Day, which is why we're getting a little chat and beard on Veterans Day, guys. We're going to bail on Tim 20, man, because I got chat and bearded today. A little too hard. Today's military offers opportunities to create careers with high education levels in certain fields, thus the high qualifying standards now. Jack, you're correct, dude. There are, so like I worked with a lot of guys who were nukes on subs, and they had a high degree of technicality. Those guys knew their shit, The thing that I did know, you can look these numbers up. The high tech careers, they have kind of increased the standard a little bit. The problem is that those jobs, the skilled jobs, they go really quick. They are hard to get, like most people want, that I think, I can't remember the name of the list, but you list your job, the jobs that you want and what you qualify for based on your ASVAB numbers, right? Hey, Brandy, how you doing, sister? Good to see you. We were talking about you earlier. We're hoping everything was okay, sister. Good to see you. Good to see you. But, a lot of people will have X, Y, and Z jobs. We'll just take the Air Force, for example. They'll have X, Y, and Z jobs, right? They want to be a mechanic on weapon systems, or they want to be and then their next job is they want to be like a hard surface mechanic or an HVAC mechanic. And then down at like 5 or 6 is Sec Force, right? Well, Sec Force is the biggest department of the fucking Air Force. In case you didn't know, Sec Force is actually the largest employment group of the Air Force, and they're kind of always looking for people. So you might be, yeah, dude, I'm gonna be a weapons technician on the fucking on fighters. You know, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna be X, Y, and Z technical, and next thing you know, you're doing flight line patrols. Working Sec Force, which there's nothing wrong with Sec Force. Actually, that was the group that I wanted to go to. I wanted to go into the U.S. Air Force, go into Sec Force, and do either was it Cloak or Dagger? One of them is where you travel with the Special Forces assets of the Air Force, which is kind of cool. And then the other one is you're basically security on flights with cargo. You know what I'm saying? But then I also looked at being an animal handler. But long and short is I'm too goddamn deaf to join the fucking military. I try to convince every young man I know to join the military. The generation was born without testicles. Rick, dude, you guys, like, in my day-to-day life, young people, I tell them all the time. I tell them two things. I tell young people two things. Go and start a career in the trades and start an apprenticeship, or go enlist. And I get the same fucking look. I get the same look from people when I tell them to start a career in the trades, enlist, and go to church. All three things, I get the exact same stupid fucking look from these broccoli-headed dipshits, bro. But I'm like, y'all are fucked, dude. You all are so unbelievably fucked, and you can't look past your slave square to see the bigger world out there. Join the military. Join the service. Get your monkey ass down to a recruiter. Join the fucking service, because you need discipline, and you need to learn what hard work really is, son. You need to do a fucking push-up, and you need to understand that life isn't always going to be sunshine and fucking rainbows, dude. And this is the easiest, best path to personal autonomy, personal responsibility, and personal fucking growth. Get your ass down to a recruiter. Chip, chop, chip, hip, hop, hip, right fucking now. You know what I'm saying? I helped my father run his construction company, and I wouldn't be able to do this without my military experience from my MOS, dude. Yeah, Beantown, exactly, bro. That's just it, dude. There are so many people that get such good skill sets from being in the military. And yes, I can sit here and hype the military up all I want. I wasn't in it. I don't exactly know. I have a lot of friends and family that were. And yes, there is a lot of good. There's also a lot of stupid shit in the military too, right? Like, look at Angry Cops. He talks about it all the time. There's a video, a short where he went viral where he's just like, I'm moving sandbags from here to here. You know, like that sometimes. And sometimes you're going to go, why do I have to do it this way? And the reality is, at least for me, when I was in my early 20s, I'd be like, why the fuck do I have to do it this way? And it wasn't until I was in my late 30s that I went, oh, because it just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense. Good times make soft men make hard times make strong men. Rick C., you're going to come into my chat and quote the Strauss-Howe fourth generational turning theory to me? You're going to come into my chat and quote the fourth generational turning theory to me? Hell yeah, you are, brother. And that's what I appreciate about Mad Hatter Nation, because you guys know what's going on, dude. 3/4 of softies I see in their 20s roaming around couldn't handle a week of boot camp, dude. Art, and the bitch of it is, Hegseth's taking boot camp back to the way it used to be, not this new bullshit, not this no Shark Week, not this you can't swear at them, not this you can't touch them, none of this bullshit, dude. It's going back to the old ways of boot camp, brother. They're both sides of a hat. I've seen the good and the bad. Beantown, exactly, bro. There is a lot of good and there is a lot of bad, you know, at least from what I've seen. I didn't live it, so I don't know. But personally, I just, if I was a young person, if I could do it over again, I would have enlisted in my early 20s. 100%. It would have set me up so much farther for success in my later years. You know what I'm saying? It is one of the big regrets. You know what I mean? Moving sandbags is just a workout to me. Didn't care a bit, dude. See, Jack? And that's just it, dude. If you can gamify it, like, all right, I was talking to, I was talking to a buddy, a young kid at work, and I was like, yeah, dude, join the Air Force. And they're like, I don't know, man. I was like, dude, look at it this way. you join the Air Force you sign up for 4 years. And they're like, okay. I'm like, there's 52 weeks in the fucking year, right? 4 years, that's 208 weeks, okay? So by the time you get through the Air Force's basic, that's 8 weeks. You then go to A school or tech school, whatever the hell they call it. By the time you get done with your basic training, basic and advanced training, you're going to be roughly a 10th of the way through your fucking service, dude. That's going to be pretty close to 20 weeks right there. That's a 10th. That is a 10th of your service already just in training, dude. You know what I'm saying? And then you just got to show up. Hell, but I tell them, I've known you at this job now longer than what your contract would have been. And they go, well, shit. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not that big of a thing, man. You're young. You're fucking young. You have so much time. What the fuck is 4 years of your life to a 23-year-old? God damn. It's the... Oy vey. Oy vey. Germany used to have 2 years mandatory, 2 years service requirement. Not sure if they still do. I actually think that should be more of a thing, dude. I don't know if necessarily... Or I'm actually a big fan of... service equals citizenship. I think there should be some type of mandatory requirement that if you want to vote, you either have to have done military service, or if you don't want to do military service, another department like a civil corps. You know what I mean? Like some type of service towards the country. That service equals citizenship. I know. Whatever, dude. Think of me what you want. America first, motherfucker. You need to have some skin in the goddamn game. You got to have some skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like the idea of service equals citizenship. People don't realize how long basic and AIT is until they're enlisted and going through it. See, Beantown? Exactly, bro. Exactly. And if you just do the math, dude, you're a 10th of the way through your service. Like, come on now. Hey, just put your head down, dude. Get through it. Just get through it. You're going to be infinite. If you just do the bare minimum of your 4-year stint in the military, keep your head down, stay out of trouble. It's 4 short fucking years. Doing the bare minimum, you will be infinitely farther ahead by the time your contract is up than if you stay where you're at now. Stay where you're at now, fighting for every dollar, grinding it out, trying to keep the bills paid. Or minimum effort, infinitely farther ahead. Seems pretty fucking simple to me, dude. All right, guys, real quick, because I went a little long here. Got a little chatting beardy. You know, what you going to do? Lions head coach Dan Campbell explains why Leak didn't play a lot versus the Vikings and Commanders. Ty Leak's just a young guy, continuing to get better and growing. Campbell said on 97.1 The Ticket Tuesday morning, there's a little inconsistency at times, but it's not out of the norm. Correct it, get a little bit better, and move on. The hard thing for him, which is a good thing for all of us, is Mac is playing good. Reader's playing good. Roy's playing good. So, like, hey, man, you got some good players in front of you right now. So what you do to elevate his game, and then he'll be in front of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, hey, dude, yeah, you got to want it more. There you go. As we sort of suspected, this is the case for a rookie being a rookie, and there is some strong veteran play in front of him. It makes sense with where the Lions are right now. Their drafts are no longer really about finding the next starter right now, but more so in the future. Reader is not going to play forever. You would think that in 2026, there's a strong chance that McNeil and Williams and the starters will be the starters in the middle. I know that it's going to be hard for some fans to bite on since the first round has generally been for players who are going to be starting right away. It's just not where the Lions are right now. That does not make him a bust. Not even remotely close. That's what we like to see, dude. So the reality is guys are just playing good, and I hate to say it, we don't need Tyleik Williams to be a massive contributing member, a stalwart on the defensive line. We are a good team now, and Brad Holmes takes the best player that we're going to need at that time. We don't need to draft starters. We don't need to start. We need this position! Yeah, we wanted a defensive end. We need this position! We needed corners, so he took 2 in the same draft. Terrion Arnold's turning it around a little bit, but Enos the penis breaks straw. And not so much, you know. We could have demanded a defensive end. And that might not have worked. And then Al-Qadim Muhammad wouldn't be sitting at, 6 sacks on the season. You know what I'm saying? Being a productive player. Who knows? But the reality is Tyleek was playing more snaps because there was a necessity for him to play more snaps. Aleem was out. I think we all knew that this was going to be the reality. This was going to be the reality once Aleem came back. Aleem is that guy. DJ Reader is actually playing really, really well. And as long as DJ Reader stays healthy, you might as well just keep the rotation the way the rotation is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Dirt. It ain't complicated. But Tyleek not slipping up, just being a rookie. And having the luxury of him being able to hone his craft 6 days out of the week and let Sundays be an exposure for him, not a detriment, a growth period. But let him polish his skills. Let him hone it. Let him not be overexposed. Let him not have the sight game broke in his head because he's being taken advantage of because he's a rookie that just can't quite fix it. Just can't quite fix it yet. Let him be a luxury. You know what I'm saying? That's what I prefer. I do think Tyleek Williams has a very bright future in the Motor City. We'll take one last walk through Mad Hatter Nation. Autocorrect got me again. It's all good, Brent. My nephew wouldn't make it 2 minutes in boot camp. Rick C. Yeah, I hear you, dude. Neither would my nephew, but he's like 8 years old. I'm all in for it, Brent DeWitt. Yeah, dude, I think everybody, I think a lot of young people see the benefit to like a mandated service. And I'm not saying it has to be in the military, but some type of whether it's like a civil corps or something where you're giving back, you're serving the country. You know, it would instill a little bit of pride, and it would also give you a little bit of skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize how long basic is. Yep, read that. Plus, trying to convince these brainwashed Gen Z users that they've been misled is truly impossible. Jody, you're not wrong, but I have noticed there are some polls coming out because, Gen Z is starting to become more in the workforce. Come to find out, Gen Z doesn't like Gen Z. TW was 3 vets in front of him. He's got to work for them snaps. Exactly, dude. You are correct. Rick C., he's got to work for him. But we know that when he's out there, there's not a huge drop-off in the talent. So I am not concerned. It's a talking point and a thought exercise about Tyleek Williams seeing his snap count go down. But the reality is we knew that was going to happen when Aleem came back. And to further, if you want to add insult to injury or a little bit of salt in the wound or just further drive home the reality of the situation, Aleem's playing at a really fucking high level. A really high level. So just let him do his thing. Roy Lopez had a great game. Let him do his thing. Don't take away from these guys. Let Tyleek learn, develop, grow, mature at the proper rate. Let him play when needed and when we want him to. No need to force the kid and jam a square peg into a round hole trying to smooth off those corners. You know what I'm saying, guys? So today we did bail on a couple stories. I think we're all kind of accustomed to that when Hat and Beard gets a little chat and beard, but we did talk about the Monday night game. We briefly perused Brian Daboll being fired, and I gave you my take on what to expect. What my reality is that I think this will retard the development of Jackson Dart. I am a Jackson Dart fan, so I don't want to see that, but I do now hope that the Lions make the right move and bring Brian Daboll in as a consultant because the Eagles are the big bad in the NFC. And if we want to have an easier path, get someone in here that understands and how to take care of, handle, and deal with the Philadelphia Eagles because he fucking coached against them twice a year. Detroit, call Brian Daboll, just like the Packers did with Robert Saleh last year. We bailed on Tim 20-Man. Sorry, brother. Nothing against you, Tim 20-Man, but I got a little too chit-chatty. And then we talked about Tyleek, the Freak Williams, and the reality of the situation that he is in. And it's not a bad thing. He's not a bust. I don't want to hear people calling Tyleek Williams a bust. That's absolutely nuts. Lopez making case for more snaps also. He was living in the backfield Sunday. Brent, he was explosive. And maybe that's going to be him moving forward, or maybe that was just his game, man. Sometimes, some days, it's just that dude's day, and Roy Lopez was on Sunday. And when guys are on, there's no sense in taking that person off the field. If they're going to be having a game, you got to let them have a game. And I'm pretty sure that most, if not all, Lions players are very encouraging of the team mentality. Just because I'm not out there making the play, my buddy's out there making the play. My buddy's out there scoring, and we are all winning. A rising tide raises all ships and blah, 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 blah. He wasn't going to push Reader to a rational role with Mac's return. I agree. Yeah, Rick, DJ Reader is too good. He's too good. He's been too good for too long to get bumped by a rookie, and a rookie that isn't better than him. I like the rotationary, though. I like the idea of having, because I said this when we drafted Tyleik Williams. We had already signed Roy Lopez. I built it out to this idea of hockey and how they have multiple lines. Well, now you have almost a one-for-one replacement. Roy Lopez to sub in for DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams to sub in for Aleem McNeil. You have basically identical defensive tackles who can play the same role from line 1 to line 2. I wouldn't even really call it starters and reserves. It's just your first line and your second line because these guys are interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? Rotational, that's what it was. Yeah, rotational. My bad. I'm pretty sure I read it in my head as rotational. What's up, Duncan? How you doing? The game was slow, 0-0 at the half, some kind of defensive record. Then 3 for the Eagles, and Green Bay couldn't catch up. Our good defense should help with these two teams. Yes, Duncan, yes. If anything, we as the Lions fandom should take away from the Monday night game that we were forced to sit through. If that's the type of offensive output that those teams are going to put up, boat race me, bitch. Boat race me, bitch. Watch Daniel Campbell put his glasses on and hold the call sheet up and just whoop your bottom. Take some belt to ass. Let's go, boys and girls. What a great Tuesday we had. It's 11/11. Make-A-Wish. Happy Veterans Day. A big thank you and all the respect in the world from those of us here at Hat and Beard Show, at Grandma Studio One. Thank you to everyone who has ever served, those of you who are active duty, those of you who have already done your service, and, of course, everybody that gave the ultimate sacrifice in service of their country. If it weren't for y'all, we would not be where we are. So shout out to every single one of you. If you know a veteran, give him a pat on the back, appreciate it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It does. I sit here and I say about how great it is. But, military families, there's a reason why there's that term, military families, because it's not easy. There's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of ups and downs, and especially if you're a full family unit, that takes a lot of sacrifice. That's a whole effort from a whole family, and it's awesome that people do that. I do think we need to change the mentality on how we view enlistment. Maybe give it a little bit more hype, give it a little bit more, reality is that we're taking. We actually have high standards. We want the cream of the crop. Be all that you can be. The few, the proud, the Marines. Aim high. I don't know what the Navy's is. You know what I'm saying? Splash around with water wings on. I don't fucking know. In the Navy. I'm just fucking with you guys. I'm just fucking with you guys. Grandpa Dan, he did kind of look like Grandpa Dan, didn't he? I like the idea of him with glasses on as he's Daniel Campbell. When he doesn't have his glasses on, he's MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell. But when he puts the glasses on, he's Daniel Campbell, and he means business. He's here to masticate your kneecaps. Oh, all right, I got in slap happy, guys. We're going to get out of here. It's been a great day. It's been a Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, which means, we'll be humping our way into Wednesday. Hump day, baby. And then just a couple of downhill slaloms into the weekend. And then I start my vacation on Sunday. Oh, your boy's off. Ha-ha. Got a whole week off. Let's go. Stay out of trouble, guys. What's that say, Duncan? I was a third-generation military vet. We all go to the world belongs to the sailor, but close. Nice, dude. Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate that. That's awesome, Duncan. Thank you to you and your family and everybody else at Mad Hatter Nation that has served. I genuinely do appreciate all you guys. Stay out of trouble. We'll be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Make sure you got that notification bell turned on so you notify when we go live. It'll send you a press button, and it makes it super duper easy for you, for me, and then we all get to party. Let's go. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been attentive audience. Until next time, bonga bonga. Frig off.